Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura B. Flosstube. Welcome or welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. So this is Flosstube 53. It is March 13th, March 13th, 2024. I'm coming to you from lovely Columbia, Missouri. We had some rain overnight and today it's supposed to be the high of 75, which I am not going to complain about for March. So at this point in time, I am over 5,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and I thank you so much for liking and subscribing my videos and following along with all my crafty journeys. It really does mean a lot to me, and I appreciate you sharing my channel out with all your friends. So in this video, I have some cross-stitch updates, quilting updates, life updates, and a couple fun new toys. So please stay tuned to the end so you can catch up on all the happenings in my craft cove. All right, so first up is my cross-stitch progress. Now the last video I talked about my March goals and I kind of laid out what I was hoping to get done in the month of March. I don't know if it's going to get done, but I do have a couple accomplishments and maybe not accomplishments, but I definitely have some progress on a couple projects. So the first one I want to share with you is the Lori Holt You Are the Boss. All right, so in this bag is my Lori Holt You Are the Boss cross-stitch project. And I have actually made some pretty good progress on this. In fact, I have met my March goal. So for March, I wanted to get 3 of the squares completed and those are done. So I have these 3 over here and I actually have a 4th one kind of started. Not too much, but we're going to call it a good start on the 4th square. So hopefully for April, I'll get 3 more done, maybe even more. Who knows what's going to happen. Oh, just so you know, whoops, I am stitching this on 28 count Lugana. I did not dye this or anything. It's just the kind of like a vanilla white that it came to me as. And I'm using called for colors, but some substitutions as well. Actually, I have lots of substitutions in this one. So this is because I did not want to go shopping for floss. I know it's kind of crazy for me to say I didn't want to go shopping for floss, but I didn't want to go shopping for floss. I wanted to use what I had. So I just pulled out some colors that were similar in nature and I'm using those to get this project done. Next up is Proud and True, which is out of the Summer Memories book. If you haven't seen the Summer Memories book, make sure you check that out. I got mine from Fat Quarter Shop a while back. I'm sure they still have it in stock. There's an awesome quilt in here as well, but there are about 6 or 7, I think, cross-stitch patterns in here. So I'm doing Proud and True. Now this is my birthday start. I turned 47 years old last week. Yep, there you have it. I discussed and disclosed my age. I'm not too worried about it. 30 bothered me a lot and 40 bothered me a lot, but now I'm just like, whatever. So here's my start on Proud and True. So obviously I still have the flag to do and then I will be done with this one. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to finish this. I may just find myself a little frame so I can display it on the mantle. Again, I forgot, sorry. Okay, this I'm stitching on a 28 count wheat Lugana. I am using the anchor floss for this, so they're not the called for colors, but I have all of my floss bobbins, or floss spools rather, stored in this cute little box from Fat Quarter Shop, and I just pull them out as I need. I really do like the anchor floss. I like the fact that it's on a spool. It's kind of fun. And it's, easy to unwind. I feel like they twist less than DMC, and that could just be because it's on a spool and it's wound rather than doing the little flat folds back and forth. But I really like it. I like the way it glides through the fabric. I like the vibrancy of the colors. So I am definitely an anchor floss fan. I also use DMC floss. So, I kind of go back and forth. It just depends on the project and what I need and what it's called for and my color assortment that I have on hand. All right, so my other March goals were to finish another square for the Durene Jones Christmas cross stitch. I don't have that done. I also want to make some progress on my Featherweight Stitch. I don't have that done. I think and progress on Pansy Patch Pumpkin Lane, and I haven't even picked that one up. So I still have a couple of weeks left to March, and I'm going to try to get Proud and True completed and then move on to one of those other 3, just so I can get a few more of those goals done before the end of the month. You may remember that I mentioned that I have a weekend coming up. That's the 23rd and 24th, that my husband is going to be out of town, and I have the weekend to do whatever I want, and I plan spending it crafting. I was gonna go do a couple things, and now I think I'm just gonna hibernate in the house and just craft my little heart's content and just be a happy little me. So that is my goal for my cross stitch for March. Okay, let's move on to quilting. I feel like I've gotten a lot of quilting done in the last 2 weeks. In fact, I can't believe how much quilting I've gotten done in the last 2 weeks. Let me grab this project bag. One of the things that I have mentioned before, I belong to the Booneslick Trail Quilters Guild here in Columbia, Missouri. If you're in Columbia or close to it and you quilt, you should totally check us out because we're a really fun group. We do lots of cool things and our meetings are really cool. I mean, we have someone come in every month. We have a speaker come in every month and give a presentation. And it's just a great way to network with other quilters. You get questions answered, you learn new things, you learn new techniques. Maybe you learn a new twist on a technique that you've done a different way all along. So please check us out if you're in the area. But one of our amazing members, who's actually our current day chapter president, hello Sue, she worked with a couple other members in our guild to put together a paper piecing pattern for our Booneslick Trail Quilters Guild star. This star, okay, don't judge me on this. This is the first block I've done with the paper piecing pattern, and I am a novice paper piecer, guys. It is not my thing, but I really love our star, so I definitely want to do more of these, and definitely paper piecing is an easier way to do them than the traditional pieced method. So if you are in the Columbia, Missouri area and you want a free tutorial on how to do this, you should come out to our April meetings because during Sit and Sew on April 1st, no fooling, on April 1st, they're going to be giving a live in-person demonstration of how to do the paper piece pattern and the traditional pieced pattern for this star. So if you're here, you can attend a couple of our meetings free of charge as our guests before you have to join the guild. And you're definitely welcome to come to Sit and Sew as well. So you feel free to come on out and check this out. But here is the pattern you can get to create this amazing Booneslick Trail star. This is not for the faint of heart, you guys. There are Y seams in each one of these points. But with the paper piece pattern, it wasn't as bad as the traditional pieced method, in my opinion. Now, if you're going to hand stitch this, then you've got it in the bag because those Y seams would be easy peasy for that. But if you're doing this with a machine, you got to have a few tricks up your sleeve in order to make this happen. But here's my first paper piece Booneslick Trail star. All right, other quilting news. Let's see, what else have I done? Oh, all right, so hopefully you've been following my channel a little bit. If not, you should check it out because I'm doing a series right now to do an ornament holder. It's a Christmas tree quilt, and I'm doing a video hopefully every week. I may miss a week here coming up because, well, I have now gotten into the main, guts of the project, so to speak. And I have a ton of pieces to sew onto interfacing so I can do my interfacing applique technique for my tree. So I have already shown you how I chose my colors, how to use the projector to project my image, how to disperse my fabrics, how I've assembled the background. And this week I'm going to be releasing a video on Thursday, that is tomorrow, which is March 14th, on the interfacing applique method. So if you haven't done that before, be watching for that video to release tomorrow. And I have a very quick, easy tutorial for you guys just to figure out how I'm going to do this and make this tree happen onto the background of the quilt. All right, so in addition to that, I have also continued working on the mercantile quilt, and I'm going to flip this around so you can see that. We're now looking at the mercantile quilt. I have the first 12 blocks completed, so I have basically 2.5 rows. I do have 2 more blocks to do this week. I have not started them, but they are on the agenda for today or tomorrow, depending on how I'm doing. You may have noticed my voice is a little off today. I'm fighting some allergies, I believe, so I'm a little raspy, but we are hanging in there and going strong. But anyway, here's the mercantile quilt. As a reminder, this is a Lori Holt sew-along that is current on her blog right now. She will keep those blog posts up there, so no matter when you're watching this, just Google Lori Holt Mercantile Sampler, and you should be able to find this. Now I am using scrap fabric left over from Hometown and Be Vintage and a couple other ones. Plus I used a fat quarter bundle of stitch to get all my backgrounds, and actually in some of the block pieces as well. This is a really cool quilt because you do your 4-patch backgrounds and then you do a pieced block, which then you applique onto a large circle and applique it onto the background. So it's really cool. It comes together fairly quickly, and I really enjoyed doing this quilt. I'm also staying current with the Moda Blockheads 5. I posted a couple photos out on Instagram for my latest blocks. So if you're interested in seeing those, check that out on Instagram. I'll try to insert a couple pictures here, but for the most part, I'm doing updates on Instagram for the Moda Blockheads 5, just because I don't want to keep taking them up and down off of the design wall, to be quite honest. That's kind of where we're at with it. So yeah, so Mercantile is going well, Blockheads 5 is going well, and I also was able to do a little quilting finishing. So you may remember last time I shared that I was going to be going down to my brother's to quilt, and I did have 6 quilts that I took with me, and I quilted all of them while I was there. I have 4 of the 6 completely finished. So one of those I gifted to my husband, and it's his t-shirt quilt. So that one is completely done, and I don't think he's used it yet, but it is finished and he can use it whenever he feels like it. So that's fun. The other 3, one of them I turned into our coordinator for Marketplace for our quilt show that's coming up this fall. And so that one I don't have to show. The other 2 though, I showed this quilt top last time, but I do have the flannel strip quilt done. And I just did kind of like a meander all over it. And I have the binding for that one done. So this one is going into the pile for angel wings. It's just a cute little quilt. And it's nice and soft and fluffy because of that flannel. And then the other one was just an orange and white checkerboard quilt. And this one I did just a lazy wave stitch on it. I keep my stitching pretty simple on these quilts just because, you know, they're charity quilts, and I know they'll be washed a million times over. And I want them to be soft for the kiddos, and the more quilting you put in on something like this, the stiffer it gets. So I just want to make sure that they're nice and soft for the kiddos when they get them. So I keep my quilting pretty simple on those quilts. So I did get those 4, but I didn't have one of them to show you. I have 4 of the 6 quilts finished completely. Now the 5th quilt is a gift for my aunt and uncle. It's big. So it's 112 square, which is basically a king size quilt. I need to put the binding on it and get it finished up. And then the last one is the bloom quilt. So I did record some videos on the bloom quilt of me doing some machine quilting. And so once I get the binding and sleeve videos recorded, I'll put all of those together and release the last bloom quilt video. I hope to have that done by next Tuesday, but it may be the following week. I'm just gonna kind of see where I'm at with it, and I'll release it when I get it done. Okay, so one other fun thing that I did over the last 2 weeks is I had a guild meeting, and we've been doing blocks of the month. And so one of the block I released last month was for a signature block, and it's actually one of the Moda Blockheads. It's the first one in the Moda Blockheads 5 series in the first section. So this is what the block looks like, and I'm going to try to, I don't want to, well, I guess it'd be all right. So it's just a star block with a name in the middle. I have several of these because I kind of mentioned while I was drawing for a name that I really wanted this set of blocks, but I just didn't have time to get a block done, so I had no chance of winning. Well, the lady that won them was not there, and another person that was there, unbeknown to me, gave her a call and was like, hey, Laura really wants these. Do you think that it would be okay to just like to donate them to her? And she was like, absolutely, I am totally on board with that. And I was like, oh my goodness. First of all, I can't believe that you did that. I did not expect that. Second of all, I can't believe you're willing to give me these blocks. Anyway, so I am super excited to get all of these signature blocks. and I plan on putting them into a really cool project pretty soon, hopefully. So let's see, what else? Let's do a life update. Let's just transition on to a life update. I did have my birthday last week. I have a couple of really cool new toys. I've got a tripod that is not responding to me right now. I think it's probably dead. But it's an auto-rotating tripod that will go 360. It is super fun. So I'll be using that in my upcoming videos. I'm actually using it for this one, but I forgot to charge it. So it's just stationary for today, but that's okay. So yeah, I got a really cool tripod. Thank you, babe. You're the best. And my mother-in-law gave me, she makes me laugh because I had a thread spool, a thread cone on my Amazon wish list and some needles. And she's like, I don't understand why you're excited about thread and needles. I'm like, oh girl, I am a quilter. I go through thread and needles like crazy. So anytime someone gifts me thread or needles, I am a happy, happy girl. So I'm set for a while on thread and needles, thanks to my mom-in-law. And I also, my husband, oh goodness. So I started purchasing, I purchased one beaded handbag at Maud Vintage here in town. Super cool bag. And then I started collecting them, but only this certain brand. And so he found one for my birthday to gift to me. It is gorgeous. I may have to, I'll insert a picture of it here just so you can see how amazingly gorgeous it is. So I was able to use that this past weekend when we went to Kansas City for the weekend, kind of for my birthday, kind of just for fun. Went out to a great Italian restaurant, Garozzos, in downtown Kansas City. Here's a picture of my very handsome hubby outside of Garozzos, and a picture of us inside Garozzos. So we had a great meal there, and then we went to the Green Lady, listened to some amazing blues and jazz music. And then the following night on Saturday, we had Minsky's Pizza, which is so good, and went to see Tinsley Ellis at Knuckleheads, which we had never been to Knuckleheads. If you're in the Kansas City area and you've never been to Knuckleheads, you should totally check out this venue. It is super cool. They have like 4 stages or 4 areas where they have music, and they have like so many people, like artists, come through there and play. I had never heard of it, but we saw Tinsley Ellis was going to be in Kansas City, and we're like, well, let's just go and see him. And it was a great show. We had a great time, exhausted afterwards, but it was really fun. So then when we got back into town Sunday, we surprised our game buddies. Hello, Pam and Chuck. We surprised our game buddies with a pie from Corner Cafe, which if you're in the Kansas City area and you haven't had pie from Corner Cafe, why? Because it is like the best pie I've ever had in my life. So we picked up apple pie for game night with our game night buddies and had apple pie Sunday night with them. So we've had a really fun filled weekend, and now I am just recovering. I think I have some kind of like an allergy thing going on, but we're just kind of ignoring it a little bit because we have lots of things going on this week too. So with all of that being said, I really thank you for joining me for this entire video. If you've made it to the end, thanks so much for hearing all my updates about my cross-stitching, quilting, and life. Don't forget the next ornament tree video is releasing tomorrow on March 14th around 8 a.m. and that's going to discuss the interfacing applique method. So be sure you tune into that and hear how that project is progressing. Make sure you're watching for the Bloom quilt final video tutorial on that, on attaching a sleeve and binding, and to see that long arm quilting that I completed for that quilt. So until next time, find some time for yourself and have a little time for crafting, and make sure it's always happy stitching.